In the next gripping episode of Get Your Ass Up with Tony the Closer, we dive into the emotional turmoil of a man who discovers his girlfriend has been lying to him about the paternity of his child for over 11 years. Tune in as we discuss a shocking video of the confrontation and analyze the life-altering consequences of the deceit and the betrayal of everyone involved, including the child. Don't miss this powerful episode that exposes the devastating impact of dishonesty. Welcome to the Get Your Ass Up podcast. I'm Tony the Closer. I'm here to inspire and motivate you to never give up on your dreams. As a former NFL athlete who overcame personal setbacks like going to jail and bankruptcy, I turned my life around to become one of the top salesmen in the world. In this podcast, we'll feature celebrity guests, successful entrepreneurs, and my incredible network to give you real-world advice on how to achieve success in all aspects of life. Whether you're looking to build a successful business, achieve financial freedom, or simply need some motivation to keep pushing forward, we've got you covered. Man, we've had amazing celebrity guests on here like Dame Dash, T.I., my boy Joe Hayden and Edgerrin James, Andre Berto, and more, sharing their stories and insights on how to reach their full potential. Listen, so are you ready to get your ass up and achieve your dreams? Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss an episode of the Get Your Ass Up podcast with me, your boy Tony the Closer. Let's dive in. Let's change your life together. Let's go. Welcome back, everyone, to another powerful episode of the Get Your Ass Up with Tony the Closer. I'm your host, Tony Robinson, and today we'll be diving into a sensitive and heart-wrenching topic that affects many relationships: the consequences of women lying to men about the paternity of their child. We'll be talking about a man who recently discovered that his 11-year-old child wasn't his. He's been deceived by his girlfriend for well over a decade, the emotional turmoil that this kind of betrayal can cause, and the importance of accountability and honesty in relationships. Moreover, we'll also discuss the devastating impact that this has on a child caught in the middle of this web of deceit. So buckle up and explore the dark side of deception and the ways that it can shatter lives, not just for adults, but also for the innocent children caught in the middle of the crossfire. This is an episode that you don't want to miss. So we've all heard and seen crazy paternity scandals, but this one hits a little bit differently. We have a video of a man confront his girlfriend of 11 plus years after discovering she had been lying to him about the paternity of their child. The girlfriend even attempts to flip it and turn around, asking the man why was he checking her phone, and it just adds insult to injury. The raw emotions and intensity of this confrontation are both heartbreaking and infuriating, and I can just feel for this guy, man. I want you guys to take a listen to this real quick and just hear how crazy this conversation is.
What's up is why you've been lying to me for 11 years, telling me that DJ is my real son. Why you been lying to me?
What have I been lying about?
I got a DNA test done.
A DNA saying what?
Saying that he's not my son.
Let me see this DNA test.
You don't need to see it. I saw it.
How DNA test gonna say?
How you gonna be lying to me for 11 years? Why would you do that to me?
Where's the lie?
The lie is you. You are the lie. You have been lying to me for 11 years, having me believe that my son that I've been raising for 11 years is not really my son. Like, how could you do that to me? Like, what can you say for yourself right now?
What made you get a DNA test?
Because I went through your phone.
And why?
Talking about me, laughing and bragging, telling your friends that I have no idea that he's really not my son. So I went and got a DNA test done. Like, you think I'm stupid or something? Like, how could you do this to me?
You know what?
What? You care more about me going through your phone than you lying to me about my son not being mine? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? You care more about being humiliated and me finding out that our son is not really my son and that he has a different father. I sure have, because I thought he was my son. Because you've been lying to me this whole time.
What are you talking about? Does it matter?
It does matter. Are you crazy? What do you mean? That absolutely matters. Like, you don't see anything wrong with what you did? You don't see anything wrong with what you did? You've been lying to me. You've been sitting here lying to me for 11. Of course I love him, but I can't. But you guys can't stay. You can't stay here anymore.
Where we gonna go?
I don't know. It's not my problem. 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 You can't stay here. You can't stay here. You can't stay here. I don't know. It's not my problem. I did my job. I did my job. I did my job as a dad. I did my job as a dad. You can't stay here anymore. Y'all gotta go. Both y'all can't stay anymore. No, I'm hurt. I can't deal with it. Y'all can't stay here anymore. Y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta get y'all house. Y'all gotta go. I can't deal with it. I'm putting y'all out. Yes.
Who's gonna put us out?
I'm gonna put you out.
How?
I'm gonna put you out. I will pack your bags myself and put you out of here. I will pack your bags. Y'all can't stay here. You gotta go. You lied to me. You lied to me for 11 years.
And you lied
for 11 years straight. You lied to me, having me believe that he's my son. No, you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta get up out of here. You gotta get up out of here. No, I can't look at you. I can't look at. No, y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta go. No, before I do something crazy, I'm gonna regret.
No.
Yes. You lied to me. You lied.
Man, this just breaks my damn heart. Oh my goodness, this just breaks my heart. And I can't tell you how many men, black men, that get caught up overreacting. Shout out to this brother, man. Real talk. Shout out to this brother, man, because he could have went in that house and completely lost it. 11 years of taking care of a child, assuming that child is yours, the love that you pour into the child, the resources, the family ties, everything that gets involved. Man, this is super deep, man. I got an 11-year-old kid, so I'm sitting here thinking about all the relationships and the amount of time and the things that you put behind it. Like, that has to be absolutely devastating to this brother, man. And he didn't even get super disrespectful, because I know me. I would have been, oh, man, she would have been every bee in the world, every rotten, everything. So I got to give this brother a lot of respect, man, a lot of love, because he really had good composure. Maybe it was because he was on IG Live, and that's what I realized. Sometimes I had to get on IG Live to keep from black on some of these situations, man, because this one is absolutely insane. And there was just a couple of things that really just triggered me, man. Shorty asked him, a DNA test saying what? Like, what you think the DNA test said with your rotten ass? What made you go get a DNA test? But she didn't know that she was disrespecting and openly bragging to her friends in text messages about him not being the father, and he actually discovered it through her own sloppy ass text messages. Then she go and ask him, well, does it matter? Bitch, what? Does it matter? You just manipulated this man for 11 plus years. And you say, does it matter? See, this is my issue. There's no accountability with women, man. There's no accountability with women. Then she asked him something else that really just threw me off. Do you love him? Oh, you motherfucker. Oh, you motherfucker. You going now, after all this time and manipulation, you going to try to play with my mind and ask me if I love the child? Do you love the child? As the mother, do you love the child and all the shit that you now bringing this kid into? Do you really give a fuck about your child? Or was it just something about you being able to take advantage of your irresponsible fucking behavior and you ain't know who the daddy was, so you placed it on a nigga that you thought could be the nigger sucker? Or the one that really was going to fucking go for your shit? And then you want to ask this man where y'all supposed to go when he tell you to get the fuck out of his house. Go with the nigga that you was fucking 11 years ago, you rotten bitch. I couldn't imagine, man. Man, I'd be in jail. I know it. If I found out Trey right now, after 11 years with my son, oh, man, I'd lose my motherfucking mind. You got to think about every relationship, having him around my other son, having him with my mom, everything, man. All the love I give him. And to find out he wasn't mine, man, that has to be the worst feeling in the world for a man. Because as a man, your son is everything. It's everything, man. You men want a son. We look forward to having a son. And to have it taken away like that, you go get a paternity test? Hey, listen. Shorty asked him, yo, you gonna have my son out on the streets. no, that's your responsibility. That's your motherfucking nasty ass behavior that made that happen. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself. This situation is a wake-up call for all men, particularly black men, who often find themselves caught up with the wrong women. It's crucial to be careful about who you choose to build a life with because, as we see in this case, one lie can wreak havoc on your entire world, and it's essential to communicate and establish trust, and we make informed decisions about our relationships, man. Like, I can't tell you, like, how important it is to have the right woman, man. For years and years and years, I was just like, it was the pretty chick or the one that was down to do some freaky shit or she was whatever. But you really realize really quickly as you go through life that you got to be very selective with who you having sex with, who you giving your trust to. It just can't be about a pretty face. It can't just be about, oh, the toxic relationship, man. I'm sure that there were early warning signs for this brother that probably he just overlooked, and now it ended up being something that, like, really is like, man, it's tough. Super, super tough. I hate to see this for this man because, like, you know, we all, you know, go through life and sometimes the decision that we make could, like, be so impactful for, like, the rest of your life. And you can see that he chose the wrong woman. Oh, my God, he chose the wrong woman. I don't know if he met her at a club. I don't know if he met her at the gas station, but he should have left her wherever the fuck she was at. Sometimes, fellas, like, one of the things I realized through, like, some of the shit I've been through, y'all know, I done told my story, y'all, man, and I'm going to be more deep and more detailed as we go into each episode. But, man, I done dealt with some women that I knew I had no business dealing with. They gave me every sign that let me know that they weren't a quality woman, and I continued because I liked the sex or I liked the way they looked. And, you know, ultimately it came back to bite my ass big time. Man, I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, freedom and everything behind a piece of ass or a person that I knew wasn't a good fit for me in my life. And I just hope that you guys start looking at women beyond just that nut that you can get and really understand that, like, once you motherfucking have this, you know, situation where you're laid up with somebody that could be potentially, you know, creating a child with, all that comes with it. And I think it's a lot of dudes out here that don't really, you just thinking about the moment and having sex, and you don't really think about all the consequences and all the things that could potentially come behind it. Just a crazy, crazy situation, man. How so many black men get caught up in this shit, man. I just hope that we start being more accountable to ourselves. Shout out to them for having emotional intelligence, but, like, we got to start having a little bit more, we need to pay a little bit more attention to the red flags. Because if you checking her phone now, that was because you had some indicators that you felt uncomfortable about something. It was something that made you feel uncomfortable about something. And I ain't gonna lie, man, it was at one point in my life I had, man, listen, I got me a DNA test done. And I wanted just to have the certainty before I actually started raising a child that it was actually mine. I had been through a relationship that was chaotic. We had been broken up for months, and I found out she was pregnant when she was like 7 or 8 months pregnant. So, you know, I'm like, the first thing I did as soon as my son was born, I was like, yo, I got to get the paternity test. I got to make sure, you know, it is what it is. And I know a lot of men, you know, they might want to feel like, hey, man, ain't nobody coming behind and doing, hey, listen, man, if it ain't came out your belly, it ain't came out your ass, you don't know what's going on. Hey, listen, I want to know. And shit came back 99.8%. Then I knew. I said, okay, that's my baby, and I can love on them properly. But I couldn't imagine loving on my kids for this amount of time, 11 years, and then seeing and finding out that the mom was lying and deceiving me and openly bragging about it. The openly bragging about it, like, really fucks me up. Like, you're sending out text messages and things like that. Like, we need to talk about holding women accountable, man. While this man is in this situation, is undoubtedly a victim, we also need to address the accountability of women involved. Society often shies away from holding women accountable for their actions, but this needs to stop. This level of dishonesty can ruin lives and has a long-lasting impact on everybody involved, including the innocent child that's caught in the middle. We need to start having more conversations about accountability and responsibility, regardless of gender. I can't tell you how many times we see the man get the hammer and the woman get the slap. Think about it. How many times you see the man get the hammer and the woman get the pop on the wrist. This brother is going to have to deal with this forever. And what's her consequences? She got to go find somewhere else to stay. There's no laws against this. How is this not illegal? See, it seems like every law is like to protect women, but like, what about the women that are predatory? What about the women that openly lie to people and deceive them for this amount of time? Like, if this man had overreacted in the least bit, put his hands on her, did anything, he immediately goes to jail. But there's no consequence. There's no repercussion for openly lying about this man being the father and knowingly lying. This should be against the law. How is this not illegal? I need to understand that, man. I've never understood, like, some of this shit that happens in our world on a day-to-day basis. Like, how is this not illegal, man? You want to talk about the impact on this child? Perhaps the most heart-wrenching aspect of this entire situation is the child involved. Not only has it world shattered because they just found out that's not their dad. Now the dad's gone. But they now have to like navigate the complexity of their identity and relationships with both parents. The emotional and physiological effects of this can be immense. And it's crucial for both parents to put the differences aside to prioritize the well-being of a child in a situation like this, man. Who is this kid's real father? This is another kid now that's going to grow up confused and not knowing what the hell going on, man. He's identified with this man for 11 plus years. To find out that's not his dad, and you know the guy now has to separate. He's going to separate himself no matter how much he loves the kid. He's like, hey, man, you're not mine. You're not mine, bro. And I'm just sitting back, I'm asking myself, like, what would I do in this situation? You might be asking yourself as you're listening to this right now, what would Tony do in this situation? And honestly, it's hard to say, as every situation is unique. However, the key takeaway to remember is the importance of trust and communication in relationships. Ensure you're building with somebody that like really wants to share a life with you and values you and is willing to be open and honest with you. Like, honestly, man, ultimately, you can only control your actions and your reactions. So focus on being the best version of yourself and prioritize your mental and emotional well-being. What I would have did 5 years ago? Shit, I would have been in jail. Or I would have been slapping and the cracking in that joint. Where I'm at in my life right now, I wouldn't even been in that situation because I would have picked a better woman. I've been mindful of what I had going on in my situations, and this is something that's really important for us as fellas. Like, we got to have those moments of accountability. Is she a wholesome type woman, or is she a hoe? Like, some of us try to save hoes when we know they hoes. We know they a hoe. Oh man, we want to wife her because we like the sex and everything else. Man, I watched one of my homies come out here to Miami, throw away all his shit, mess everything up because he was just fucking with a hoe, a retarded, crazy ass girl. And I'm sitting here watching them just like deteriorate and do dumb shit time and time again, just over a piece of ass, man. So I know like everybody in life makes decisions based on where they currently are in the moment, but emotional intelligence is everything. We got to make decisions based off like where we want to be at in the future. We got to understand that the impact that, you know, one decision could be forever. Man, I'm really sad for this guy, man. I hope that the young kid that's involved also gets some counseling because he's going to need it. I hope the brother gets some counseling involved. And I hope that rotten ass mom, she gets locked up for life because that's the impact that she's had on that child and that man. All right, before we wrap up today's episode, I have a powerful call to action for all of you out there. This story is an eye-opener, and I want to encourage everyone to engage in open and honest conversations with your partners. Do not let deceit and betrayal ruin your relationships and lives. Now I want to hear from you. Share your thoughts on this episode by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. Let's create a community that stands for honesty, trust, and accountability. And I want to thank all of you guys right now for continuing to support the podcast. As in the last 4 days, we went from the top 100 to now we're in the top 25. We're at number 24 in the U.S., man, and we're continuing to grow and shatter in the charts. Thank you so much for all of your support. And remember, I'll be giving away $1,000 to my followers and supporters in the podcast. So make sure that you go and subscribe and follow the podcast, and be sure that you leave a rating, because I'm going to pick you from the rating. So I'm going to give you guys some money. Let's go. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Get Your Ass Up podcast. Thank you so much for joining me in this journey of learning, growth, and self-improvement. I hope you found value in our discussion and feel inspired to apply the insights we've shared to your own life. If you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with your friends and family. We're committed to providing you valuable content to our listeners, and your support continues to help the growth, and I want to over-deliver on that promise. I'm your host, Tony the Closer, and I want to remind you to never stop striving for greatness. Keep pushing yourself. Never give up. And remember that we're all in this together. Stay tuned for more empowering episodes continuing our way to success. Until next time, keep moving forward, and remember, get your ass up and make that shit happen.